one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
If you're a Marvel fan right now, you're in a very interesting place. We're now 5 years removed from Avengers Endgame, and since then, we've gotten just a lot of meh. Since COVID hit right after Endgame, it was good that we got to cap off the best of Marvel before everything got delayed, but it was also so detrimental because they lost any chance they had to keep the hype going. If you look at Marvel's recent work after Endgame, they've almost all just fallen flat as they try to resurrect what used to be, but with none of their fan-favorite characters. So after 5 years of meh, where are we? Well, February 14th, 2025, we're getting Captain America: Brave New World, which will apparently be more of an espionage film similar to The Winter Soldier. Giancarlo Esposito and Harrison Ford are great additions to this cast, and I'm excited to see how Anthony Mackie grows into the role of Captain America. While I'm not foaming at the mouth to see this film, I think it looks more promising than others. The Thunderbolts will release May 5th, 2025, and I can happily say that I don't really care. I'm really hoping this movie surprises me, but of this lineup, the Winter Soldier is the only character I really wanted to see again. To be fair, I don't really have enough information about this movie to fairly say, so I'm gonna wait and see, but this feels like Marvel's attempt at pretending they had a plan for something bigger when they made all their flops. Fantastic Four releases July 25th, 2025, and there's not enough information about this movie to go too deep, but I like the casting choices, so I'm excited for more info. Avengers Doomsday will release May 1st, 2026, and Avengers Secret Wars will release May 7th, 2027. I'm still a little fuzzy on how this is gonna work, but there's been a lot of speculation. There's also plenty of time to figure it out since it's so far in advance, so I'm really not worried about it, just really confused. Now, the big talk right now is Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU as Dr. Doom. I've heard a lot of takes on this, positive and not, but the main thing I'm hearing is that they offered him way too much money, and now we're getting RDJ back for fan service and we'll never get a true Dr. Doom adaptation. Granted, they gave him $100 million of salary and bonuses for playing Dr. Doom. That is too much money. But on the flip side, he only agreed to do it if the Russo brothers were directing, which they are. Robert Downey Jr. has an extensive career in and out of Marvel. I mean, he just won an Oscar for Oppenheimer, for goodness sake. He doesn't need the MCU, but he clearly wants it. He very clearly has a ton of fun being in these movies and loves working with these people, so I say he's a great actor and loves what he's doing. Why not let him do it? Maybe this is Marvel trying to salvage the little hype they have left by not letting go of the one who started the hype in the first place. But even if it is that, I think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be right in his element in this role, but only if the script is handled correctly. How could this be handled incorrectly, you ask? Let's say Sebastian Stan runs up to RDJ, who is in a full Doom costume, and he's all mad and he says something like, "Man, it really is Doomsday out here." Then Dr. Doom takes off his mask and Sebastian Stan is like, Tony, is that you?" Then Dr. Doom has this whole monologue and he's like, "Since the multiverse is open, we can do whatever we want. And so Iron Man can be Dr. Doom. Now the Avengers have to fight the guy who started the Avengers." And it's like an irony thing, but it just doesn't land. If Robert Downey Jr. is gonna be Dr. Doom, there needs to be absolutely no connection to Iron Man. There's going to be a temptation to connect them in some way, like some random Lightyear crap where they end up fighting a future version of yourself or whatever, but that would be awful. The last thing we need to do is go back and ruin the actual good part of Marvel. And who's at the core of that? Iron Man. I don't even want some self-referential meta joke where Dr. Doom is like, "Who is that Iron Man? He seems like a very handsome guy." Speaking of self-referential meta jokes, Deadpool and Wolverine. This movie is very important to talk about the state of Marvel, so I'm going to be talking spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine for the rest of this video. If you haven't seen it and care about spoilers, drop this video in your watch later so you can come back right after the theater. You've been warned. So in the after credits scene where Robert Downey Jr. comes in as Dr. Doom and is all like, "Deadpool, thank you for freeing me. Now I will wreak havoc on the world." And Deadpool's all like, "Robert, how much did they pay you for this one?" Okay, now that the only viewers left are people that have actually seen the movie, I can talk about real spoilers now. I'll open by saying I really liked Deadpool and Wolverine, and while it wasn't perfect by any means, it was an amazing love letter to the people that have stuck with comic book movies after all these years. I thought the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman was a highlight, and seeing them having fun on screen together made the movie movie so much more enjoyable. This movie is one of the very few instances where I think the multiverse concept was used well. Marvel has been so serious and very nihilistic in their films lately, and to finally see such a fun interpretation of the limitless concept that is the multiverse was so refreshing. For the first time in a long time, I feel like Marvel was actually listening to fans, and the best character to make fun of studios being stupid is Deadpool. You could definitely interpret this as, how do you do, fellow kids, and it's just a large company trying to get in on the meta meme culture for a quick buck, but I don't see that at all. I think that Kevin Feige is finally seeing what's wrong with Marvel, and they're trying to course correct the best they can. However you feel about Feige, I really feel like he's fighting for Marvel. We've seen plenty of examples of CEOs and producers being greedy. David Zaslav, Bob Iger. But I don't think that's what's happening here with Feige. Deadpool and Wolverine is a lot of fan service, but it's the best kind. It's Marvel finally coming back down to our level and saying, hey, I'm sorry, we're trying our best. With the wild success of this movie and the conversation around their future plans, it's hard to say if Marvel will get back to the quality they were once at. I'm worried though that the bringing back old actors and comic accurate suits bit is gonna get old really fast. All that being said, I'm gonna keep a pretty close eye on Marvel right now. This is the most hope I've had for the studio in a really long time, and if they can keep making great movies like Deadpool and Wolverine, they might have a chance. But if they don't get the audience to fall in love with the new people as much as the old, they might be screwed. But I want to hear what you have to say. Drop your thoughts on the state of Marvel in the comments down below, send this video to a friend, and make sure you subscribe if you like content like this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!